Time once again to talk with the mayor, Kathi Hemken, joining us from the city of New Hope to bring us up to date on things happening in the city. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Just fine, thanks.
Thanks for being with us once again. We have a lot to talk about as we're in the middle of July. The first is the Blue Line. Tell us a little bit about some of the upcoming meetings and what the discussion is right now related to the Blue Line.
So the Blue Line is the extension from Target Field out to past 610 out in Brooklyn Park. And that's the extension of the light rail. So originally they had the route all figured out. It was going through Golden Valley, but then the railroad says we couldn't use the right of way. So they have to redo the routes. And what they're trying to do now is just do some preliminary routes so that people can look at them. It's much easier to look at something and say, it would be better if we did this or that, than to just go with a blank sheet of paper and say, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
So they've done a couple of preliminary sketches and they really want feedback. So one of the feedbacks that they had a meeting is tonight, the Monday night, the 19th. By the time this shows, it's probably going to be too late for that.
Right.
The other ones, there's one on the 21st in Brooklyn Park. That's from 5 to 7:30, and that's at the Brooklyn Park Library. And the other one is in Crystal from 6 to 8, and that's at Becker Park on the 26th of July.
Mm-hmm.
And both of those, they'll have some people from the Met Council there and some people that are working on this Blue Line extension. So you can look and see where they're going. There's also a website you can go on to, and I think you're going to show that.
Mm-hmm.
It's bluelineext.org. You can go onto that and get some preliminary ideas of what's going on, and they always will take feedback.
Very good. Lots of a discussion right now. And again, go to that website to find out more about those upcoming meetings and other things happening in the future. West Metro Fire Rescue District, they've got a lot of activity going on as we go into summer here. What are some of the things that people should be looking out for?
Well, the real biggie is West Metro is hiring. Now there's three fire stations in West Metro. 2 of them are in Crystal and one's in New Hope. So they are hiring. What it is it's a paid part-time job. You have to have a valid driver's license. You have to be over 18. You have to have a high school diploma or equivalent, and you have to live within 6 minutes of one of the fire stations. And the reason for that is when there's a fire and they need you there right away. So you have to live kind of close. It's really a great part-time job, and you also get a pension. So if you're there long enough, that pension is really quite nice.
Right.
So you can go online onto westmetrofirerescuedistrict.org. I think you're going to show the website for that. Get some information on how to apply. They're also having a barbecue on the 11th of August from 6 to 8, and that'll be at Fire Station 3. And they want the families to come because when you join the fire department, it really is a family affair. They do a lot of stuff with the families, with the kids. And so bring the family. There's a free barbecue. They're just going to talk about what the commitment is, what that means. They do pay the people they hire. They pay for their training.
Mm-hmm.
So they're paid while they're training, and then they're paid when they have a call to come in. And they're required to do so many hours a month, and I'm not sure what that is.
Right.
But that's just the requirement. So anyway, it's a good thing to apply to. And if you're physically fit and want to be a firefighter, there's your chance.
Very good. And speaking of barbecues, here's another chance if you're a barbecue fan to put another date on the calendar. This one comes in September, and it is paired up with golf. Tell us about that.
Well, it is. The Twin West, which is the Chamber of Commerce, just recently combined with the Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce. But the old Twin West had put on a golf tournament with Crystal and New Hope for 24 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that golf tournament is happening the 17th of September. We don't have all of the details, but you should be getting something out pretty soon, and then we'll get it out to folks. You can, I think it's $50 to play and for the barbecue. If you want to sponsor a hole, it's $150, and you get a free. You get to have one person play golf.
Right.
And the barbecue. So, we'll get that out to you. And all the money that they raise on that, half goes to the Chamber of Commerce, and the other half goes to Crystal and New Hope to dispense between our local programs like Safe Camp and just programs around Prism get some money. So it's a good thing.
A lot of activity out on the roadways during the summertime, and some of the roadways happen to be around Meadow Lake Elementary. What is happening there as they try to prep things for the upcoming school year?
Well, on the east side of the building on Zealand, they're actually restriping some of that and putting no parking, repainting the no parking. And the reason for that is because they load buses, and that's a public right of way. And so they have to kind of stripe it off, if you will. The
Okay.
buses park there, the kids load up when they get out that way. So you'll see some folks doing some painting on the street. They're not doing a street art. They're actually painting no parking and painting the curbs.
All right, getting ready for the school year. City Services Survey, we've talked about that multiple times and the importance to the city. How are things going with surveys coming back in, and how can people still get involved?
Well, we have over 100 back in, or 300, I'm sorry. We really would like 3,000 back in, because it really tells us what's going on and what people want. So those surveys came in your water bill, but if you didn't get a water bill, or you don't get one because you live in an apartment or you're renting, you can go online and again, go to the city's website, into City Services Survey, fill that out. If you have a question or concern, you can write that at the bottom, and somebody from the city hall will call you to talk about it. You don't have to put your name on it if you don't want to, but if you want to call back, you have to put your name and phone number on so we can call you. None of the things that you talk about are made public or attached to your name at all. We just want people to let us know what they want and where there's a concern, because we can't fix the problem if we don't know where it is.
Understand. newhopemn.gov, again, the website to find out more about the survey and to get your opinion heard. Let's talk scattered site for a minute. We've been keeping people up to date on the different projects. We've got one on Louisiana that's about done, and another one on 52nd Pennsylvania that's got a tree there. Give us the update.
The one on Louisiana, right off of 42nd behind Cook Automotive, the interior is all done. They're putting in some landscaping, but of course, because of this hot, dry weather, it might not look like it's going as fast as you want, but they have to kind of be careful putting that in because they don't want it to just die. And then on Pennsylvania, a tree actually fell on the empty lot.
Okay.
And so it was too big for us, when I say us, our public works department, to cut up. So we have to get a tree service to come in, and we're getting quotes. So if you see the tree there, we didn't forget about it. We know about it. We just have to get some quotes from tree people to cut it up and get it out of there.
Understand. Business networking group update. They've got a meeting coming up, and meeting location now that you're back in person, I understand, is City Hall. What's the topic coming up?
Well, sometimes when we have these, we have them at the business,
Right.
but if the business is too small to have it, we offer City Hall for a place to do that. So on the 4th of August at 8:30, it'll be at City Hall. It's being done by the Fair Weather Design Group. They do websites for small businesses as well as larger ones. They're hosting the meeting. They'll just let you know what they're doing, what it costs, what you can do. And so you get some information and you don't actually have to make a lot of contact. I believe it's going to be all in person,
Okay.
but you can go onto the website and see that maybe some of it's being done virtually as well as in person.
Great opportunity too to just chat with other business owners in the area. Let's talk about HyVee for a second. If you have been there lately, a lot of activity on the one side of the building with people doing the online shopping now, and they're looking to work ahead to make that even smoother. What are they getting ready to do?
Well, about 2 years ago, maybe 3, they had come to us and wanted to put an extension out there so they could have this online shopping and load the cars from a building. Well, lo and behold, here comes COVID. And now it becomes even more important.
Right.
But they couldn't do any of that for a while. So now we have actually issued the permit. So you should see something happening. You can still order online at HyVee, and it's outside. They'll pull your car up, they'll load it up for you. But there's going to be a building so we can stage, or not we, so HyVee can stage the groceries there, and you'll be under an awning so you don't get your car loaded in the rain, if it ever rained.
Sounds like a good idea. Let's move ahead to the police department. A handful of items to update you on here. The first require you to get your calendar out for a few dates coming up. We've got National Night Out and also the Safety Camp. Give us a preview of both.
Well, National Night Out is the 3rd of August. It's always the first Thursday or Tuesday in the month. So it's the 3rd of August. If you haven't registered, we ask that you do, so that the police and the fire know where the parties are, and they can get the fire trucks and the police over to your party so they can meet the people. So they're planning for that. You just go into City Hall, you can fill out a form, you can do it online, however you want to do it. But so there's 46 parties signed up right now.
Great.
We've had as many as 89 at one point, so we'd really like a few more. It doesn't have to be a big deal. It can be a potluck. It can be an ice cream social. It can just be a bunch of people sitting in lawn chairs in your driveway.
Yep.
So whatever it is. So the police department's also working on I got to get the date here, on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of safety camp.
Right.
So that's for kids going into the 3rd to the 5th grade. They have safety in everything. I understand they'll have water safety. So the kids on a day or two will be able to go into the pool and get some water safety tips. They do electrical safety, they do home safety, they do traffic, bike safety, just you name it. If it's got safety in the word, they cover it. So 3 days of really intense stuff for the kids, August 10th to the 12th.
And go to the city's website again, newhopemn.gov, to find out about registering your party for the National Night Out or getting into safety camp. We've been keeping residents up to date, Mayor, on the body-worn camera trial. How has that been going, and how close are we to getting them right out there and ready for use?
The pilot program's been going very well. The police are very in favor of this and want this as soon as possible. So they're telling me that by the end of the month, all of our police officers should have the body cams and know how to use them and make sure that they're on when they're out.
Meals on Wheels, a quick update here. The police on a regular basis helping out delivering meals, correct?
Every week, a couple police officers go out and in uniform and deliver meals to whoever has ordered them. So they're still doing that. That's pretty exciting. One of the other things that's exciting, our new police chief really believes in getting out and meeting not only adults, but kids too. So our police department, as well as some of the police officers from Crystal, did an event with Treehouse, which is on 42nd and Boone. And they had a kickball game with the kids, which they tell me was really fun. I think, they didn't say, but I think the kids probably beat the police officers.
Okay, all right.
Those kids are in pretty good shape and they're young.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for them. Well, great opportunity to connect the youth and the police department. Public Works, let's talk about a few things happening here. And one of the key areas of emphasis is the catch basins. What's going on? Why is that so important for the city to keep an eye on?
Well, all the water flows through either our lakes or through the creeks. And of course, stuff gets in there and they have to clean those catch basins out. So they're in the process of cleaning out a couple of the catch basins now. One of them on Bass Lake Road in Zealand actually needs some repair. And to do that, they have to do some prep work to get to it so they can get it cleaned out. So they're in the process of doing that. From the softball and the volleyball tournaments from this last weekend, Public Works is out kind of fixing the grass and mending anything that needs to be mending. It's just when you have a lot of people, stuff gets a little bit worn. Yeah,
good problem to have all that use.
Yes, and the last thing is they're finally fixing the drinking fountain at Terra Linda Park.
Yay!
It might be getting fixed as we speak.
Very good. I'm sure that comes in handy during these hot times. Let's move ahead to some of the projects going on in the city. Street infrastructure. We've been talking around Oregon Avenue for some time here. Give us the latest update of what's happening underground and also what's happening related to the seeding and the grass to come.
Well, they repaired all the streets around Lions Park, and the other street was Oregon from 38th up to 42nd. When they were doing that repair and they were lining the pipe, they found the pipe broke. There was a pipe that was broke right off of 42nd. So they had to get quotes and get that fixed before they can finish the lining. In the process of doing that, they found a couple other leaks on that pipe, but those can be fixed with the lining. But they can't put the top coat, they call it the wear coat, on until they get that pipe fixed. So it'll happen, but it seems like it's stalling right now. But they got to get that pipe fixed and then lined, and then they'll put that on. Now, in the whole process of this, if your lawn happened to get torn up a little bit, and that happens when they're doing this kind of work, you certainly cannot seed when it's this hot and dry.
Right.
And so what they're going to do is put down some sort of fabric just to hold the dirt there so it doesn't wash away your road. And then in late August, when the temperatures are going down and they'll have some chance of getting some seed on there, they'll do that then. But they haven't forgot about you. It just takes a while. And in this weather, they just can't do it. They have to wait.
Another big project for the summer is the Meadow Lake drawdown. Again, why is this important and What are some of the little creatures that affect the timing?
Well, Meadow Lake is part of the Shingle Creek Water Management team or whatever. So they have applied, Shingle Creek has applied for a permit to draw down the water on Meadow Lake. And the reason they're drawing down that water is because the pond has been overtaken with little fish, like little minnows, thousands of them. And what these little fish do is they eat stuff, and then they deposit stuff on the bottom, which makes stuff grow more. And the weeds and the algae has been terrible. So the thought is to draw that down so that the weeds will die off. Hopefully we'll have a cold winter. The weeds will die off, and then we can put water back in. Okay. Now, the reason they have to wait till August is the turtles in the lake.
Right.
They don't want the turtles to die, only these little fish. And turtles tend to migrate in August. Okay. And so what they will do is they'll start to draw, once they get the permit from the DNR approved, and they've got 60 days, by the way, to approve that. But the DNR also knows we're worried about the turtles. So as they start to draw that down, the turtles will start to migrate, and we'll get all the turtles out of there. And then they'll dry it down to just ugly bare ground, and it'll look terrible all winter. But come spring, they'll fill it back up and it'll look good again. So
sounds good.
But if you see turtles migrating across the road, don't run over them. Just help them along, and they're looking for a better place to go.
Sounds good. Let's go to Park and Rec. A lot going on there, as you might expect. The first thing to talk about is movies. Recent success and another movie coming up. Tell us about those.
Oh, there is. So the movie Monsters, Inc. was just shown this last week, and that was supported by West Metro Fire. Well, the next movie is the 19th of August, and that's going to be Black Panther, and that's at the Outdoor Theater in New Hope. They have a big screen, and that one is being supported by the New Hope Lions. The reason I tell you who's supporting them is because they give the city money so that we can put these on. We'd like to do more, but of course we need more supporters out there. Sure. And when I tell you about who's supporting them, it'd be really nice if you support the guys who are supporting the movies. Got it. So that's why I'm telling you about where they are. So, good connection. Let's talk about some of the events that went on. We mentioned earlier that some of the fields are being repaired after busy use. The busy use was the Heyday softball tournament and also a big volleyball tournament. How did those go? Well, both of them were huge successes. Good. The softball tournament was on all the fields. And of course, they, when there's all those people, it tears up the field a little bit. They have to fix it. And they had a volleyball tournament with 30 participating teams from around the metro. And that was at Hidden Valley Park last weekend. And that was a huge success too. Sorry to say the actual Heydays has been canceled. So there is not going to be another event this year, but hopefully next year we'll be able to do that. Sounds good. Let's talk a little bit about Off-Broadway Musical Theater. They are back after a year off, and they are more excited than ever. Had a chance to talk with some of them out at the Robbinsdale parade, and they were singing away and very happy about the new venue. Give us a preview of this exciting event coming up real quickly here. Real quickly. Actually, they were off for 3 years because we tore down the theater. They couldn't, and then we moved the theater and it wasn't ready, and then the pandemic came, and just these poor people. So it's the 25th annual Putnam Spelling Bee, and it's a comedy, and it's supposed to portray 6 or 8 11-year-olds, and they actually hire or they don't hire, they get adults to play these 11-year-olds, right? And the adults are having a riot being 11 again. So that's every Thursday through Sunday. It starts this Thursday. The play starts about at dusk, so 9 o'clock, something like that, and the play will start. You have to bring a chair because we don't have bleachers anymore. So bring a chair or a blanket. You can sit on the grass. It's all tiered, so you'll be able to see really well. Every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights through August 7th. Yeah, great event and great way to get out there and have some fun in the community. And again, the new venue will be wonderful for them. One more thing at that new venue is Music in the Park coming up on August 11th. And I understand there might be some food involved in that as well. Well, no, that is going to be the Blue Grove, and that's sponsored by Xfinity Plus. The food's next door. You remember that I told you about the barbecue at the fire station on the 11th, and that's 6 to 8. So go to the barbecue, have a hot dog or whatever, walk over to the Performance Center, and watch the performance of the Blue Groove on the 11th, and that's 6, and they're playing starting at 8 o'clock.
All right, sounds fun. More items happening in Park and Rec. Rain, believe it or not, actually washed out a day of softball. Hard to believe this summer.
hard to believe. When you have a rain day, one is all we've had all year.
Right.
So the season will be extended for 1 week, and they'll have the playoff games. I know a lot of people like to watch those playoff games. Those will be at the end of July. You can actually go online onto the website into Park and Rec, and it'll tell you where those playoff games are.
All right, this next picture we're going to show you is making some kids happy as they get ready to play basketball at one of the parks. Tell us about Little Acre Park and what is popping up there.
Well, Little Acre Park, we redid the basketball court. And when you do that, you have to take the hoops down, of course. And, they put this, whatever they put out, I don't know if it's cement or what it is. So the hoops will go up probably in the next week or so, but they can't restripe and repaint the concrete until it cures for 30 days.
Okay.
So the hoops will go up and then they have to wait till they paint it, but it will get painted and you'll be able to use it. Corner Park is up and ready to use it. I saw a bunch of kids playing on there. It's just beautiful. And that's the one right off of Winnetka Avenue and about 46th. So got nothing to do, go over to Corner Park and check it out.
Yeah, very colorful. Looks like lots of fun. Quickly here at the end of the Park and Rec part of our update, let's talk about 3 big facilities in the city. The first is golf course. What is happening there? How is the golf course holding up during this heat?
Beautifully, actually. The
Good.
PGA Junior Tournament was last Saturday. Big success. There was a memorial tournament played on Saturday. Again, a big success. They really would like to, they've got a couple spots left to rent out that back pavilion, and there's a grill back there and plenty of tables. So if you're having a party of some sort, think about renting that out. It's pretty reasonable.
And if you're seeing lots of cars at the ice arena, there's good reason for that. They're training everybody inside. What are some of the training efforts?
Well, the goalkeepers and the Zamboni operators and skilled stuff, doing lots and lots of training. I understand there's 7 men's groups that rent ice once a week there.
Fun.
So there's always something going on at that ice arena, even though it's summer. And they are planning for the fall and winter now, doing the scheduling for that.
Very good. And last update is from the Aquatic Park. And if you happen to drive by this weekend and saw not much action in the water park part, but a lot of action over at the lap part of it. Good reason for that. What was going on? Oh,
it was a big swim tournament. One of the things that we had an arrangement with the swim teams that we would close the pool down for one weekend, the whole weekend, so that they could have an outdoor tournament there. In exchange for that, they gave us quite a bit of money so we could build those extra 2 lanes. So this was the tournament. And of course, the farmer's market wasn't on because of that, but it'll be back. So they're renting it out now for these swim lessons, and the swim teams are renting it in the mornings, and then the pool opens at noon. It'll be open till 8. So it's open and it's hot. Yeah. So use it.
Perfect place to go, and the numbers continue to rise. 3
26
last notes that we have for you, and they all have something to do with food, which is a good thing. Let's first talk about food trucks.
Food is good.
Yes.
So we're still doing Food Truck Fridays. So that's every Friday in front of City Hall from 11 till 2.
Yep.
And so you can just go see the food trucks, get what you want, get your food, go over to the pavilion and eat under the pavilion in the shade.
Sounds
Also,
great.
there's the farmer's market will be back open, and that's 9 to 1, and that's of course in the street in front of City Hall. So that's back and running. And the last thing is, the food drive. So the city does a food drive, and they make it open to people to come in and donate food as well as money. And so as of now, we've donated 392 pounds of food and $565 to Near Food Shelf. Near is actually located in Crystal, but Near covers the north half of New Hope from 42nd on up to 62nd. And Prism, of course, has the south half of New Hope. So if you're in the mode to donate food to a food shelf and you don't want to take it to Near, you can bring it to City Hall and just drop it off in the hall, or bring a check to the gal behind the counter, and we'll make sure that they get it.
Sounds great. Yeah, usually big barrels out there to take that food. You can just come in and drop that off and help some people in need in the community. Well, Mayor, as always, a lot going on in the city of New Hope. We'll take a breath now, and we will be back with you next week. and give people another update what is going on. Thanks for being with us
Okay.
once again today.
Thanks, Dave. Bye-bye.
Learn more about the connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.